Alrighty, you're looking at what is the fake sun at 7:16 a.m. The entity is engaged in real-time effort to subdue the fake sun. I took pictures of it. You'll see the engineer light, and the engineer light is still present. This is under no circumstances ever going to be the natural, and this is where the entity provides confirmation. Pay attention, because the plane activity starts right here. That's crossing paths with audible activity under the fake sun. Okay, this is the entity that's engaged in what is providing confirmation that they are gang stalking. There is no airport where you are flying south over the this hotel building. This hotel building that has the fake sun 12 hours later. This is evidence that the city of Ontario just provided against the co-defendants who are going to federal prison at Starbucks, where the sun is not going to be seen through the windows, where L. Edwards is gang stalking at 7:15 a.m. on July 4, 2025. This is evidence that the entity is providing against the people of the state who are stalking. That is still here, reflecting off of this window and seen in perfect alignment with me at Driftwood Village at 7:09 p.m. The entity is keeping the fake sun. I want to be clear, it's right here. Where the entity is gang stalking by commercial planes, that's demonic activity, which you're never going to hear where you are taking off from the airport, number one, and you're also witnessing demonic activity. You saw the plane, but the sound of the plane is demonic. It's as demonic as the fake sun that's here, and it's still here 12 hours later. Okay, this is demonic activity, which is evidence of criminal surveillance, and it's exposing a special needs status of an entire population that's engaging in what is criminal surveillance, and it's referred to as gang stalking. Is engaging in this pattern of conduct, amplifying plane activity in the depths of that hotel room, plane activity that's sounding in the bathroom where my vagina is exposed, where I'm engaged in private activity, personal activity that the people of the state and the government have no legitimate interest in. They're sex offenders. And their being sex offenders is literally the supernatural. Where the entity just engaged in what is exhibiting severe mental illness, that's removing Alan D. Wapner. This is a corrupt government actor, a corrupt president of the airport authority that has commercial planes flying over me, a facilitating venue in conformity to the documentation against Alan D. Wapner, who is going to be removed from position while commercial planes are flying south over the hotel, and the airports are supposedly taking off, headed to destinations which are published on the Ontario International Airport, which are flying in the direction south and making U-turns, which I'm documenting at all hours of the day. The entity is engaging in what is, again, very demented and delusional. While I capture the evidence of the mentally ill who are stalking, they provide real-time evidence of their criminal targeting conduct, which is speaking to their mental illness as well. And it's going to be the removal of public officials like Paul Leon, Alan D. Wapner, Mike Lorenz, Michael Gherkin, who are engaged in criminal monitoring, as each department in the city of Ontario is also proven to be engaged in the satanic targeting system of federal group stalking and monitoring. It's currently 7:19 a.m. and this is not going to be in view of my camera, where I'm capturing kidnapping as an entity with the intent to obstruct justice at 507 North Euclid Avenue. That is Starbucks on Euclid, where the entity is keeping the fake sun after 7 p.m. There's no natural environment where the sun is going to be in alignment or ever at Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, but you're understanding the consistent documentation of the inconsistent environment where gang stalking is underway. That's a demon that's pacing, just like you see in this parking lot, just like the entity did with commercial plane over this hotel, where Mobile is gang stalking. Mobile's customers are gang stalking. They're monitoring my vagina inside of this hotel room, and the entity is engaged in what is a documented act of kidnapping as an entity, where, by the way, the Ontario International Airport engaged in what is flying directly over my head right here, engaged in what is gang stalking, and that's also on the record. The amplified audible activity that you heard while that plane was flying over is demonic. All right, and the entity engaged in a far deviation from taking off from 2500 Airport Drive to fly south over this building. Do you know what's on the other side? Is an empty field and grocery outlet. This is where the entity is indeed gang stalking, and everybody's going to be documented gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, P.O.C. That's a yellow bottom helicopter over the fake sun. The Ontario being disbanded. It's the pattern of conduct of stalking with helicopter. LAPD, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles Fire Department, the Ontario Police Department, they're engaging in the same pattern of conduct. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, this is disbanding of while they have a helicopter with a yellow bottom engaging in the same POC under a fake sun at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. The City of Ontario Housing Division is engaged in what are paying for vouchers of the people of the state that are gang stalking and engaging in a sex offense and domestic terrorism with the City of Ontario. Where the fake sun is remaining over me at the Ovid Family Community Library, the Ontario Police Department is being disbanded, and every gang-stalking police officer that committed kidnapping, including C. Hazelwood and Owens, just the other night, where they're engaged in stalking, not enforcement of the law. They don't have authority under the law, and while they engage in that ongoing harassment and criminal conduct with while they're harassing somebody that they're gang stalking while wearing police uniforms, they're going to federal prison, all right? And that's video documentation that you already see on the internet. Every gang stalking police officer that's under the fake sun at 7:15 at Starbucks is going to federal prison. And that's why you have the absence of a coincidence, the entity flying over my head under a fake sun that 12 hours from now is right here. And the entity's engaged in the pattern of conduct, and this is why you have the entity engaging in the pattern of conduct of flying south with a commercial plane while the fake sun is over me, and 12 hours from now that fake sun is still here. The entity is going to be removed. The Ontario International Airport's engaged in domestic terrorism. They represent a threat in this country. They are a domestic enemy engaged in what I'm exposing, and I'm also going to prosecute it. And this is putting Tracy Banks, this is putting Jason Isaac Fields, this is putting Eric Corey Spencer, Ariana Elena Lopez, Carrie Heberlin, everyone, Shanita Ramaya McLean, every single person that sat in a corrupt court with the intent to defame my character, bearing false witness, while they are engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. That's the government that's targeting with the people of the state whose name I know, with the intent to defame my character in order, under a secret and criminally procured conservatorship, to steal property from me, while the police are stalking, while the Ontario International Airport is stalking. That's the pattern of conduct. That's UPS. They're going to federal prison. That's audible activity, relevant positioning, and that's, again, no destination from the airport. They're flying in the direction south. And when I'm inside of my hotel room, this sound of the plane activity is occurring when they're a tremendous distance away. This is them engaging in demonic activity right in front of your face, and it's not a distraction from exactly what I stated. Everybody bearing false witness against my character, including the sex partners, Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, and everyone else, Eric Corey Spencer, that are bearing false witness in order to steal property. Gang stalking with the government is not creating a legitimate conservatorship. It does not create mental illness. This is the entity's conspiracy to defame an American citizen in order to steal their property. And the government's going to be prosecuted, and so are the people of the state. And the people of the state that include Tracy Banks and all of her demon-possessed band members that engaged in conspiring with the state, that I have surrounded with the evidence of the P.O.C., they're all going to federal prison. And the government just provided ongoing corroborating evidence, as the demon-possessed always do. This is a special needs population. And the entity is keeping the fake sun now over economy, and we're at no point is this ever coexisting with being over Starbucks at 507, Woodside Senior Apartments at 408 West G Street, the Ovid Family Community Library from the time of entrance until the time of exit. And replete with that, the entity engages in what is providing more confirmation, in case you doubted, which you reasonably are not, by gang stalking with commercial planes and helicopter, which is state action. This is all state action as well. Okay, this is where the same city of Ontario committed kidnapping on September 25th, 2020, where the fake sun is documented rising at 7:49 a.m. over this pool. I documented the fake sun right here yesterday during the 10 a.m. hour. I documented the fake sun over me in this parking lot at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I documented the fake sun over me at 12:52 over my room, where the city of Ontario is pacing in this parking lot, monitoring with the people of the state, doing so while they are keep under a fake sun that remains all day long. That's the entity that's stalking by commercial planes. That's the entity that's stalking by helicopter, which is what the entity relies on presence in that demonic environment. This is light activity. So while you're flying over me, you're monitoring. And you're also providing evidence to the federal government that you're monitoring. In Driftwood Village, grocery outlet, mobile gas, the people of the state on the 60 freeway, the people of the state living in relevant position. This is massive monitoring while the entity is engaged in what is obvious stalking with by an airport. UPS crossing path, hovering. Not just crossing path, but you saw hovering, flying in the direction south. This isn't even in alignment to the airport. The entity is literally engaging what is donuts over me, and doing so while they are all worshiping my vagina in the bathroom. So stepping out to show you the fake sun is the evidence which putting all the people of the state, including gang stalking judges who are acting as the government in corrupt courts to steal property. This is what the government is practicing in the United States, stealing inheritances from American citizens, conspiring against their to defame their character in order to do so, while a government that's engaging in criminal surveillance in the way that the city of Ontario has just demonstrated, and the people of the state are under a fake sun. These are demons that are engaged in public corruption throughout this country, where surveillance is underway unbeknownst to American citizens, and the government conspires against American citizens that it is keeping under surveillance to steal things from them, such as property, trusts, etc., when you have substantial property that the government is seeking to steal. Gang stalking judges that are targeting me by stealing property, they're going to prison. All right, and the city of Ontario just provided evidence against them. This is why, and this is how, and this is what is working together. Bearing false witness in corrupt courts about my character while gang stalking me at the same time and relying on witchcraft and voodoo and black magic in order to do the invisible work against me, and it didn't work, and they're all going to federal prison. It is currently 7:26 a.m. This is evidence against L. Edwards, C. Hazelwood, Nathan Morgan. You have C. Torres that's going to federal prison. You have Alex Escobar. You have the entity that's gang stalking through A. Casada, engaging in kidnapping. I'm documenting on B. Hook on May 29th, the kidnapping on July 4th, 2025, the kidnapping attempt on just the other day with C. Hazelwood in the middle of the night when they're gang stalking, which is what the fake sun proves. All right, and the entity that's gang stalking by flying over my head where the fake sun is present by plane and helicopter is what this documentation proves. And the pattern of conduct shown by the people of the state where this hotel building is filled with engineer light where they're pacing. And the entity is maintaining earthquake activity inside of the hotel room and amplifying plane activity inside of the depths of the hotel room and stalking me with ongoing amplification of traffic inside of the hotel room, which is impossible audible activity heard inside of the depths in order to maintain surveillance where the government's directly engaging in it. This is P.O.C. All right, the helicopter activity in the city of Ontario is disbanding the Ontario Police Department. There's no sun that's ever going to be over the Ontario Police Department. Not at 11 o'clock in the morning like I documented in 2021. Not at 9:32 a.m. like I documented in 2025. Not at 4 o'clock in the evening like I documented in 2021. The Ontario Police Department is being disbanded and Mike LORENZ is being removed, and so is every other demon that's associated with the Ontario Police as this thorough system of public corruption is exposed, and this criminal surveillance pursuant to targeting amongst surveillance, and this is for money, this is for property that none of the demons are getting, and they're going to prison for it. All right, this is P.O.C. It's currently 7:28 a.m. I want to be clear. This ongoing obvious engagement in criminal conduct is relevant to mental illness that is shared by the demon possessed, and this is a national security threat. Gang stalking immigrants are justly deported. Gang stalking mayors are removed from office. Gang stalking police departments go to federal prison. The people of the state that are gang stalking with law enforcement go to federal prison. Gang stalkers that are engaged in bearing false witness against your character, whose name you know in your family, in your personal life, they go to federal prison because they're acting further into murder and kidnapping. And the entity that is gang stalking in this video, like you see, helicopter, plane activity, the people of the state under a fake sun at a hotel, both employees and patrons, this level of desperation, this level of continuation when the secrecy is gone, that level of impunity and malice equals federal prison and mental asylums. This is P.O.C. It's currently 7:29 a.m. at 2301 South Euclid Avenue.